Good morning, Process Intelligence fans, and welcome back to Munich, Germany. We're here midway through day 2 of our live coverage of Celosphere. My name's Savannah Peterson, bringing you all the best and brightest with my favorite co-host, Rob Strechay. Rob, do you feel smarter than when you woke up today?
I absolutely do. I think, learning from people that are in the trenches, dealing with getting to AI being real is so fun, and it really, understanding how they're using process intelligence to get there just is great.
It really is great. Speaking of great, it's wonderful to have Rafael back for the second year in a row. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
It's always a joy. Was excited to see you on the lineup. Give us just a quick update on what's happened for you and the team over the last year.
Well, many things happened, all very, very good. Exceeded our expectations because, as I told you last year, we were doing a lot of things and it was very challenging because we were not completely sure how far we could go. So, as you know, we started our first autonomous agent. We put it in place early last year. And after that,
it only took you 7 weeks to get there too.
Exactly,
I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is still working and is doing amazingly well. And there are many now like that one. We extended the processes we're covering, and we start moving forward on using AI for more things than just AI agents to provide or automate certain features, functions within the processes. And what we're doing now is making use of AI also to provide more insights and more visibility on what's going on in the organization.
So talk to me. I know you balance your literal workforce as well as your digital workforce. How has that digital workforce expanded and evolved in the last few months?
Well, as I said, a lot. I mean, it's growing very fast because.
So what does that look like exactly?
Okay, what we have done is, the philosophy is we bring all our processes into Celonis. As I told you, Celonis is the one telling us what's going on, but our intention was not use Celonis as a way to understand what's going on, it's as a way to manage the processes and operate the processes. So we build these, we call control towers, so that the person in charge running the process can see the process, can control it. But at the same time, for technology, for us, it's a very good way to understand where are the bottlenecks, the inefficiencies, and the opportunities for automation. So what we have done is finding all those opportunities, balancing which ones are highest priority. You cannot do everything at the same in one moment, and we put in priority on which ones we can automate and we can make the process seamless and working more efficiently. So we're starting putting processes, identifying in part of the processes which part of the process require an agent, and we were installing them. In the same process we talked, there's around 17, but in total there will be close to 100 now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I mean, I think part of it was also that you were talking about putting AI in the right context last year. Kind of talk to, because I think one of the best things about Celosphere is that it's learning from other customers. So help those who didn't make the trip here per se understand what does it mean putting AI in the right context, and how does process intelligence tie in with that?
Well, as I said before, it's critical for us. I mean, we've been building agents also outside Celonis, and it's tough because to really put things in, we are a company, we have massive operations, massive production, massive logistics, and building things with AI is relatively easy in a lab. But when you want to put that in production, you have to take into consideration other things. So the safest way and the most productive way is doing it within the safeness of Celonis and the process intelligence. Because you have all the environment, you know what's going on. And as we were talking last year, this is us bringing a new person a digital person into your processes with certain background, but you train them on other things, and you have to monitor them. So it's not about giving them the right context, it's not about giving them the right information so they can do the right thing, but also understanding how they are performing. Because as a normal human being, you can make mistakes. There's the things you haven't thought about, and you need to know how to proceed to certain things. So this is something that gives us a lot of confidence. It's not only easier to build things there, but it's a very good way to control them, to understand them, to monitor them. So I would say for us is key. When you want to operationalize some automations, AI or not AI, you have to do it within the process environment, with the process intelligence.
Absolutely. So when we think about communication, obviously critical to any business, both human communication as well as digital workforce or agentic communication, how are you optimizing, enhancing the digital communication between the agents within your organization?
Well, we were doing, I mean, the good thing is Celonis provides you this layer that connects everything and provides visibility about everything. And that is not only for agents, but the entire organization, humans and digital agents. Because the main problem you usually have is organizations are working like islands or silos. And information, you can have the best data in the world, but it's in a silo mode. And also usually is historical information. So what happened yesterday, what happened last month, etc. So it's really difficult to connect the things and because normally we don't work in an isolated silo way. You are doing something for someone else, or someone is doing things that you need to continue doing. There's a process. So having the process linking all those silos and providing that connected information is key to have this communication. And on the technical side, I know you were asking on that, from that perspective, or from the technical side. From the technical side, we're using, typical standard like MCP or agent-to-agent communication. We have agents outside Celonis. We're working with Microsoft. Microsoft is our main partner to go on automation. And we were very glad when Microsoft and Celonis signed the partnership. That was a blessing for us and make our life much easier. But we were doing some automations outside Celonis and many automations inside Celonis. And for us, it was critical to have them talking and communicating. So you have agents inside Celonis can be used outside Celonis, and you have agents outside Celonis that are used inside Celonis. So it was not that easy because standards and are changing as we speak. So both on the Microsoft side, on the Celonis side, you have to be trying to catch up with those things and have something stable. But we have a lab, so we can play with many things, and then we move into production things when we are completely safe and stable.
So, you mentioned it, and I think AI and people getting to agents. So many people, there's a lot of fear about agents because they see the numbers of failures that are out there. Even Alex was talking about only 11% are seeing value out of their agents. You guys have seemed to really crack the code on doing agents right. Has that really been by understanding the process first and what your end goal is, and having a metered way to go through that? Kind of talk to how you've been able to prioritize that and get to it.
Last year, when we started, before last year, it was 2 years ago, I was very clear that we have to take advantage of Gen AI. And the thing is that I was also clear that to make it happen, you have to have the right information, the right environment. That's why I went to Celonis and said, guys, you are the only ones that can provide me this so far, as far as I know. I don't know if you are willing to do this. And the teams, and Basti and Karsten said, yeah, absolutely, this is our vision, we're going for that. So we start working like that because for me, it's a must. Working outside, as I said before, outside Celonis, outside process intelligence, outside that information is a very, very tough world. I'm not saying it cannot work. We have agents working outside, but within the organizations and production, you have to have them backup but all that process information. Otherwise, it's nearly impossible. It doesn't make sense.
What would you advise companies, organizations that are about to deploy Celonis and really start to understand their process intelligence? What would your advice be to them to navigate what can be a bit of a complex and sometimes a little messy at the beginning process?
Yeah, you have to start small. Small till you understand very well. And it's not only about the technical part of it, it's also the organization, operations. The whole organization has to be involved. This is not something about technology. It's about changing the way we manage things. And the good thing about this is now, people in operations, they are now understanding and they can see things they couldn't be seen before. Once you start seeing those things, understanding all the benefits this can bring you, things start popping up. And you can, and when we say that you can look under the carpet and say, oh wow, there's a lot of opportunity here. And then you can decide how fast, how slow you want to go, depending on the organization. Because there's also, one of the big challenges is not about implementing this, it's also to manage the change within the organization. And there are things that are there are things that are really amazing, And that takes some time to have the organization getting ready for those changes. So that's the thing from my point.
I just bridging off of that, I think again, and change is one of those things that's hard. I mean, I think rebuilding processes is hard and rethinking them. But when you look at it, what has the effect of AI been on Cosentino from a day-to-day operations perspective?
Well, a lot. I mean, because whatever we do has to have a very, very practical impact. It has to impact P&L. I mean, it's critical. You have to be able to improve revenue. We're doing things on the commercial side for that, on the commercial sales process for that. On operations, you have to improve mainly cost, improve performance, increase performance. And everything we do is discussed before with the business. So business is fully involved there, saying, okay, what are the main problems, what are the main issues, what are the main pain points, what do we want to improve? And based on that, we go there, focus on there how to improve those things. So that is from my point of view, that's the way to go. If you do that, then it's relatively easy because everyone understands all the opportunities, and then you can implement them. We have implemented this in 2 major processes, and we have the full order to cash process. And there was a specific area within the organization where we were having some issues because of several manual steps in the middle. And it was so difficult to find out where were those opportunities. With Celonis, they raised up. We could find them very easily. And what we've been doing for the last year is automating step by step in that process. Wherever there was an opportunity, we double service level, which was something very, very important. And the savings are amazing. So every area, there's like 15 different areas involved in that process, and everyone is so happy, so excited about that because they can see improvements on a daily basis. It's really cool, it's really cool.
It is really cool. I can tell just from your energy how impactful that is. So how does all this work that you've done internally on your processes help benefit your end customer?
Yeah, a lot. As I said, the main target here was, okay, our service level can be improved. There was a side business where we have a lot of manual steps, as I said, and whenever you have manual steps, that impacts the process because we humans are not perfect, and we have to be trained. No, not always, not always, not always. Some of us, we are not perfect. So you have to be trained, and there's things that are, I mean, things happen. So when you have some manual processes in your process, that may impact, and in fact impacts the service level. So we said, okay, how can we improve? And the whole target was to improve service level for our customers. We have customers that any delay is really important for them. Imagine you're building a building, you're making a construction, and you're going to have all the facade is going to be from Cosentino. They ask for permissions to the city to put the cranes, to put the scaffolding, to bring teams there. And we cannot go and say, oh, sorry, we are late. It's going to be 1 week late. We will bring the material. It's a big mess, a big problem for them. So being on time is really key. Quality-wise, being with the right quality and the right time is very, very important. So the organization said, okay, this is a high priority. Let's see how far we can go. And that's what was one of the first one. We started end of last year, but mid this year, it was done. And it was very curious. It was very nice about this one because when the problem was serious, and then the organization said, okay, what about trying to solve it with the traditional backend tools we have? And because we have these backend tools for the last 25 years. And the organization said, okay, let's try to see if we can solve it. The timeline and the time that necessary to solve the problem was around 15 months. So the business said, no, that is too long, guys. You need to do it faster. Can you do it faster? Because we cannot wait 1.5 years to solve this problem. So the team started thinking about, we were working a lot with our processes, and they said, okay, why don't we try to do this with Celonis? And they said, if we do it with Celonis, we think we could do this in 3 months. So we went from 15 months, it was not 3 months at the end, it was 3.5 months, so it was close to 4 months.
Jeez.
But we did things that we couldn't have done with the backend infrastructure. So it was really amazing. It was all for customer service, improving service level, and the time it took from the technology point of view and from the internal users, because at the end organizations, you don't stop the business to do these things. They need to keep on running. So you cannot ask for a lot of time, a lot of dedication to these things. So if you do it in a shorter period of time with less involvement from their side in terms of detracting time from their daily job, it's good. So this was a very good project. All was initially for service level, but then the improvements in the organization went farther than that.
That's exciting. That's a really significant increase in speed that impacts a lot of different things. 2 final questions for you. You, I believe, are our only guest from Madrid on the show this week. And I'm very curious, because I've noticed a lot, Rob, I'm sure you have too, as we travel around the world at shows, the conversation around AI is very different in different regions. So what's the buzz on the streets in Madrid?
Well, Madrid is booming now. It's really amazing. It's a place that you have to visit as soon as you can.
Twist my arm.
Okay, yeah, sure. In Spain in general, everyone is I think that everywhere in the world, everyone is excited about how far you can go with AI. We are trying to push internally and to our colleagues. We have CIOs associations and groups where we discuss a lot these things. And what everyone is understanding that the potential of AI is there, and Gen AI, traditional AI has been there for a long time. Gen AI can bring a lot of things, but you have to be careful on, things are not that easy. The potential is amazing. We can do, with the current state of technology, we can do a lot of things, doesn't matter if they evolve or not. With the current state, we can do a lot of things, but you have to do it the safe way and in an enterprise way. I mean, the thing is to make things enterprise class is not that easy, and you have to have the right tools. And what we are pitching is, I mean, you have to know your processes and have the right information, which is not just data, because we discuss this a lot. And normal data, everyone said, oh, I have a lot of data, so I could use it, and this is key for AI. Not really, it's not fully true. Data is absolutely important for the organization, but you have to have process data, process information. Otherwise, those are silos that are not really helping what you need to do.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And it's fun to hear that it's so buzzy. Really, I mean, like either of us would need an excuse to go to Madrid, but that sounds amazing.
I love Madrid. I've been before a couple times, and you do, and it's way better than New England. There you go. There's actually really good fish there too. I have a great fish restaurant that I love going to when I'm there.
The food in Spain really doesn't leave much to be desired.
Yes, I was going to say it's fantastic.
Final question for you, Rafael. When we're hanging out at Celosphere 2026, because you're now a regular with us on the show, for the show specifically, what do you hope to be able to say then that you can't say today? We are pushing the envelope a lot together. Celonis is a great partner to us, because we both agree that we are going into unexplored territory for certain things. And one of the things we're working during this year, and it's already working, but we want to be sure we can take this massive, is about using all the information you have in your processes to answer questions you couldn't answer before. I call it, we discovered this year, I call it a time travel machine. And it's, everyone laughs when we say that, but it's true. With Celonis, we can travel into the future and then go back, travel into the past and understand how are things. And you say, okay, that is really tricky. No, it's not that easy to go and be able to go in an organization and say, based on the information I have now, and the knowledge of my processes, I like to know what is going to happen in the future. That is really important for organizations. And not only that, because when you know the future, if there's any problem, you can see any problem there, you can go back to the current state or to the past and solve that problem before it becomes a real thing. And that is something we are really doing now. And something also very important is when you have an issue, it's important, or there's something you didn't expect, to be able to understand why it happened. So we are using now Gen AI to go and ask a copilot, hey, how is the business going on? It will tell you, oh, how is an order? What is about this order? A sales guy go and said, what is about this order? And the system is telling them, well, the order is okay up to this extent, but you may have some issues in the future. This is the steps that it has gone through, and the following steps, in this one you may have an issue, and you should be working on that now. Things like that, which is really amazing. And we're putting a lot of interest that next year we will be able to show you that. I hope so. Can't wait to see it, Rafael. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Pleasure, like always. Thank you so much.
Yes, cheers, and thank you, Rob. And thank all of you for tuning in. What is a really fantastic week here in Bavaria, in Munich, Germany. We're at Celosphere. My name's Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.